All right, and we're back on Social Media Meltdown. With us right now, we have Mike McClure. He is from Social Media Club Detroit. And how's this all going for you? I mean, this has to be right up your guys' alley as far as content-wise and what your ultimate goal is for Detroit and social media.
Yeah, how could you be Social Media Club of Detroit and not be at Social Media Day
I know,
Detroit? So,
I know.
yeah, it is right up our alley. We've got a table. We're just basically letting people know about the club and get them to sign up, and it's a good day for us. It's a good day for Detroit.
Can you tell us a little bit about the club and what you guys have going on, events and stuff?
Social Media Club started in San Francisco, and it's become a global organization. The Detroit chapter started about 3 years ago, and it's basically a combination professional club and education. We're really about educating people about social media. We bring in speakers once a month. Sometimes they're local, sometimes they're national. And our goal really is to teach people about social media, help set the standards for it, and become a way for professionals.
What kind of speakers have you had recently?
A couple months ago, we had Jason Falls was in right here at the casino.
Yeah.
And we've had Scott Stratton, who is on marketing. He's actually going to be coming back next November.
Okay.
Our next one on July 9th, we've got Ginny Dietrich from Spin Sucks is coming in on her book tour. So we've had some big names, and we've had some of the local guys. We've had Scott Monty come in and do stuff. Our last one was at Blue Cross Blue Shield, when we had Stephen Clark from Channel 7 moderate a panel talking about how Detroit has changed perceptions and how social media has been a part of it. So we run the gambit.
Yeah.
And probably that event is, right along the lines of what this event is for. What were kind of the talks about social media as far as Detroit goes?
We talked about how, we have a reputation. We've been the joke of the country for a long time, but as social media, one of the things you find that we're one of the most vocal places in the country. They talked about when Chevy did their drive to Austin, Detroit blew everybody away so much that they changed the rules the following year. We talked about how every time there's something happens that has to do with Detroit, we're very vocal. We had people who had moved here from other places, from New York. They talked about how freakishly friendly we are here in Detroit.
We are, and that was another conversation we had earlier. I mean, it's whatever you think about Detroit, we're kind of the exact opposite.
Yeah,
there's a very large group of us that are very vocal on social media and are the complete opposite of the stereotype of what you would think.
So is that kind of, the mission, how did it start? Day one, when you were like, okay, we're going to be putting together these monthly meetings and getting everything together, what was the mission for everything?
The mission really is, this is such a new medium, such a new thing. Originally it was just, we wanted to have a place where people could get together and learn about it. We wanted to have 101 type learning events where people who don't know anything about social media could come and learn. And we wanted to have advanced courses for those of us who are practitioners who, are tired of all the 101 stuff and need to have something that's a little more advanced, talk about the techniques. So we try and vary it up in terms of all the different things we do. Sometimes we do workshops for a specific group, lawyers or health. We had a healthcare panel talking about all the specific needs that, healthcare has its own with HIPAA requirements, all these things of, so how do you deal with social media in that context? And then we have events that are just, this is how you use Facebook and Twitter.
So it kind of encompasses everything, like you said, from 101, this is how you tweet kind of stuff, or what's kind of the up and coming trends that you're seeing with social media? Is there anything there that you can kind of get ahead of, or is it just kind of you're always playing catch up? Is there any way to stay ahead of the game?
Staying ahead of the game is the trick, isn't it?
You're right.
In my professional life, I do Facebook for a lot of clients, and they change like weekly. It's hard to keep up on
it. It is.
I would say in terms of keeping ahead of what's going on, it's really just a matter of being plugged in and, we were talking earlier. I was talking earlier with someone about people who write social media books, and they're helpful, but they're also out of date almost as soon as they come out.
I think social media books is just like the funniest thing you could. It's a joke within itself almost. I mean, there's a lot of publishers out there that hold the book up for another 3 or 4 months after it's done being written, and by the time it gets out there, there's a Facebook policy that's changed, and now your book's irrelevant. You know.
Well, I think the ones who are doing a good job writing the books, I've learned that you have to speak in terms of, strategies and things that aren't going to change. Because if you talk about specifics,
your book's irrelevant.
So if it's like how to do content marketing, the basic strategies don't change.
No.
But the tools do, and the tools change all the time. So it's really a matter of, reading the blogs and keeping up on things
so practice is really the only way is by practice.
It really is. You have to be up on it all the time. And, different people have different levels of commitment. Some clients that we work with, they're just dipping their toe into Facebook and the basics. But others, well, this new shiny thing came out. How do we use it? Well, maybe it's not for you yet. But so it's just a matter of keeping up.
Put me on Google Plus right now.
Yes.
That's fun.
Well, now, Mike, in another life, what did you do before social media?
I am
assuming we're all older than 8 years old here.
Yes.
Well,
I am a partner and executive creative director at a marketing firm.
Okay.
Which we used to be an ad agency, but in this new world, we're a marketing firm because everything changes, right?
Yep.
And starting as a writer and being a creative person, I found when social media started coming, I just fell in love with the medium, especially as a writer. It's such a writer's medium.
Yeah.
And it's really a new frontier of creativity that allows, really what works is being different and creative. So the more creative you can be with it, the more successful you're going to be. So as a creative person in marketing, it was a natural niche for me.
Yeah.
You brought up a really good point. So you used to be an advertising agency, and with this new revolution, you're now a marketing agency. Do you see, my background is in traditional advertising, and I almost find it an irrelevant education at this point. Do you kind of see the same way, or the old way of advertising on here's my notebook and you can write in it, this is great, that doesn't work anymore? You have to now be able to talk to someone, talk to your customer, and relate to them on an individual level rather than making assumptions about your entire audience. So is that how things have been going for you guys as well?
The things you used to do still work, but they're not enough anymore. You have to use these new tools. You have to, in this new marketing world, brands now have to be less about the unique selling point and more about what's their point of view, what's their voice, how do you relate to customers? Are you friendly? Are you helpful? Are you authoritative? You have to figure out your voice because you're going to be talking to your customers one-on-one now. And
so it's more about brand relationships rather than just mass communication or mass messaging at that point.
It has to be both, really. Yeah. Mass messaging still works, but
not without the relationship behind it.
Right, and the way that you do mass messaging is changing because of all these tools and because of the way we're all connected together and brands are connected to their customers. So it's an interesting world. I'm having a blast.
I bet.
What brand do you think right now is doing the best job at social media marketing?
There are... Well, Google they are social media, but I love what they're doing on different platforms. I love their mass media stuff, which ties in their platforms. Every time I see a new Google ad, I can't. I love them. Yeah. Well, especially the Muppets one using the.
I
love the Muppets, and they use my favorite song, "Under Pressure." So that was like my favorite. So they're doing a great job. I
think of mine. If we're going across all platforms, I think Starbucks does a really great job at using every platform, which is crazy because a couple years ago Starbucks was known for not doing much advertising at all. So I think with the popularity of social media, Starbucks was really able to find their place to market themselves, although they really didn't need to. it's really turned into more. They've now turned Starbucks into even more of a culture than it already was.
Oh,
so
sure.
they retweet and re-Instagram people's pictures of their coffees and what you do at Starbucks, and it's a really great thing to follow and be able to see how involved they are with their customers and that they actually care.
Even simple things like on Facebook timeline, you can now pin a story to the top of your timeline. They put a different thing up there, pinned to the top. It's a really simple thing, but it's a tool that you can use, and it's something they do well.
Yep.
And what they're doing with their rewards and the phone apps, and
the phone
they are
app's
doing
great.
a great job.
Yeah, the phone app is great. As less paper you can have and more mobile, that's really what you're going to see winning as far as rewards go. Joe, do you have a favorite one?
I was actually trying to think of a couple. Off the top of my head, I always think there's a lot of mess. I mean, when you're starting off social media and you're a big company, there's a lot of red tape and things like that you can cut through. So I've kind of actually enjoyed seeing the smaller companies use social media. But the problem is I still don't have that one company that's kind of stuck in my head. Like,
right.
Like these guys are nailing it. It's like, oh, okay, that was a cool video that went viral. I don't really understand the brand message, but I understand that they have a cool video that went viral. So I think there's kind of a disconnect there, and I'm still waiting. I mean, of course, there's always that the Muppets ad like Google.
Right.
You can't go wrong with that kind of stuff. But I'm still waiting to see that connection between awesome message and it actually gets some really good traction and ability to bring the brand into the forefront while still making it viral. You've seen a lot of failed stuff. I know Sony is a couple years back, they launched like a I want my PSP kind of thing that was like their portable gaming device, and it was an awful marketing experiment because it looked like it was a viral thing, but it was too polished,
Right.
and it fell flat on its face. And I think like that's just kind of it's us learning the new ways of doing things, and you gotta fail to succeed, I guess, sometimes. But as far as a favorite, no, I don't have a favorite, but it's always interesting to see how we can connect that crazy firestorm of this is going completely popular. How do we capitalize on it? And I mean, I've seen companies do remixes to "Call Me Maybe." It's like this isn't really working. So I don't have a favorite. I'm a curmudgeon.
well, speaking of local, Big B Coffee actually does a real good job.
That
of
is a good
using
one.
Social media.
Absolutely.
They have a whole section on their site. And they've used all the different tools really well to connect with their customers.
That's a great example.
And we spoke to John earlier, who's the director of communications for Motor City Casino and Hotel, and
they
do a really
great
great job. Later, we're going to have Jake Duhame from the Red Wings. The Red Wings were actually the first, I believe, we'll confirm it with him later, the first professional sports team to hit 1 million fans on Facebook. So he's been leading an excellent strategy for the Red Wings, and Detroit is doing a really great job, whether it's their businesses or the franchises or anything. Detroit is looking really well in terms of the internet, so I'm really proud of them. I'm proud of this event.
I am too. It's being president of the Social Media Club of Detroit. We connect with a lot of the different companies that are doing social media here, and there are a lot of big companies. There's a lot of small companies that are doing a really good job here in Detroit.
Yep.
I am very proud of the community here.
I am too. All right, so we're going to wrap up this interview. Do you have any last plugs you want to give? How can we become a member of Social Media Club Detroit?
Just go to socialmediaclub.org and sign up, and then list Detroit as your chapter of choice, unless you live in Saskatchewan. And that's basically it. Or if you're here at the event, stop by our booth. We'll sign you up.
All right. When's your next event?
July 9th, we have Jeannie Dietrich from Spin Sucks coming in on her book tour, Marketing in the Round. It'll be at Lawrence Tech, and that should be a great event.
All right. Thank you very much for stopping by, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Go back to your booth. Work your booth.
All right.
Thanks
Good
very
luck
much.
with the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.